I'm not talking about the door block for now. You'll see at the end of the video why I never put up partitions before. Well, simply because this room for now isn't defined yet, but you have to imagine that it's a technical room. There's a varnished self-leveling compound and a thermodynamic water heater. If you missed those videos, links are in the description. I never put up partitions here because it's behind the camera. I need to tear down the ceiling, remove insulation, redo the floor, so there will be noise, dust, and I need space to take everything out. I told myself if I start putting up the partition with the door frame, I'm going to ruin everything. But thinking about it, I wanted to put in a sliding door to close off this area for the noise, the dust, and to keep out the cold when winter comes. I think that's a big mistake, since it's better to use a partition or cover the doorway until the door arrives. If I damage the drywall, I can just put another sheet on top. It's not a big deal, but if I install the sliding door now, it'll block me for the rest of the work. Because if I put a sliding door against this partition, I'll never be able to finish the partition all the way. So the cold and dust will get in. The sliding door needs to be able to move, so there has to be a gap between the sliding door and this partition. I'm changing my approach and will install a standard door. It's not a big deal. Who's going to come into this area between this white wall? Well, it's not a wall, it's a partition. A structure that I built right against this sliding door, which is permanent and was supposed to accommodate the sliding door in that direction. So I'm going to use it, and this structure will be taken down along with the door I'm going to install, which is temporary. Sure, during construction, everything will be removed and all areas will be open for us to move around. The entire floor will be redone to be even, but for now, I really want to isolate the finished part of the house, except for the floor in this hallway, in this area where there will be quite a bit of work. So we're partitioning this room. Behind this room, there's a bathroom, and in this hallway, there's a closet. Well, in terms of decoration, I want exactly the same doors for the closet, the bathroom, and this room, and everything will be hidden in the decor. You won't see the doors at all. Well, that's what I hope, but normally it should go well. I'll explain that at the end of the video. First, locate the furring strips on the ceiling. For me, I know how they're run since I installed the ceiling myself and know their exact location, but let's assume we don't know. So I've located them. I had already found them before. You know they're here. It's covered in plastic to protect the ceiling. Putting a magnet directly on fresh paint would leave marks. Okay, so if we don't know where the furring strips are, we take the magnet, we hold it, and we move it around. Here, for example, you see it doesn't stick, and here, as I get closer to the furring strip, it holds by itself, okay? And it's strong enough that if I let go, it'll stay on its own. So this works really well. Here, I know there's one here, you can guess it. It's the furring strip that's right up against the ceiling to continue the ceiling. So I have 1, 2, I have 3, and a fourth one that's right here. So I'm going to take drywall screws and screw my track directly into the furring strips. Now, let's imagine that the furring strips run in this direction. You don't have any directly above your track. We're going to use expansion anchors. Okay, so we fix the track to the ceiling and then we put the track on the floor. I could have started with the floor, but I'll be stepping on it to install the track on the ceiling, so I might damage it. Now we'll drill the track with a step drill bit, which looks like this. I'm starting at the smallest diameter, going up to 32, but they go up to 60. There are multiple sizes. I'm just drilling to let the conduits through, so I need to make 3 holes. So then, of course, we run the conduits through the rail. We didn't make holes for nothing. I'm lining up with my mark since I had already drawn everything out. Let's say we're good here, and I'm going to put a screw into the furring strip. Okay, so the furring strip is here. And there you go. So here, I went back into the insulation at ceiling level. And once again, if there's no insulation, well, you use expansion anchors like molly bolts, and it's perfect. Then you can check your attic to find them or add a wooden reinforcement above to screw back in. So here, I also have insulation. There, that's done. After cutting the rail, we set it in place. So I had marked everything just before, and I even cut the tile so I could break this tile and it wouldn't crack the whole rail. So I position myself correctly and I place a shim that's the width and thickness of the rail. It was already as thick as the rail. I just had to rip it and now we can drill directly. So we put in the anchor, tap it in and screw it. There you go. And then the shim. Did you understand that I can put my foot on the rail and it doesn't bend the sides of the rail if I put my foot directly on it? Here, I crush everything underneath, so the little shim works well and we can keep going. So the studs are cut, we can put them in the rails, we put them in at an angle and then turn them. Pressed against and behind this plasterboard. I have a stud, I can go all the way through to attach to the stud, just like we did with the ceiling. With the track and the furring strips, that's done. We'll be able to put in screws and crimp at the track, at the top and bottom, and then I keep placing the other studs, which will also crimp. We take a second stud, we always place it in the tracks. So for me, I've made all my marks. I know where to place the studs. It's not bad. Of course, we check to make sure it's perfectly plumb. We can do it with a level or we can do it with a laser. And here, we're good. So I've crimped it and then I'll put another one on the back because I like it that way. Double the studs for more rigidity. Now, when you have a drywall panel on one side and a drywall panel on the other side. For a partition wall, you don't have to double the studs, but if you can do it, do it. It gives the wall more rigidity. The idea is to double the stud. I take another one, I place it in the tracks and we turn it. And I press it against the stud. And now, either I use self-drilling screws or I crimp it, so I choose to crimp. I place a magnet to make them perfectly flush. My magnet is right here, and I just go hop to crimp. I'll move the camera closer so you can see. There, it's crimped. Self-tapping screws also work. And so for this partition, I'm placing the last stud, and this stud I'll be able to, so I turn it like the others, hop, as I was saying, this stud I'll be able to then put up the drywall, add the insulation, drywall the other side, and we'll be able to connect to it. For the partition that's going to go in this direction, exactly the same way, we installed this partition and connected it to the one that's right there. Okay, so for this one, we check if it's plumb, might as well do things properly. We're not too bad here, and over there, we're really good. I crimp it, just 2 crimps, and the flat plate on each side gives rigidity and forms the partition. In this direction, the stud will be screwed onto it. So the structure is finished on this side, we'll be able to put up this face first. I forgot my drywall lift at a job site, so I'll use a suction cup instead. So when I say drywall lift, it's not actually a lift, it's a drywall support. It lets you lift the sheet up to the ceiling and hold it in place so your hands are free. I'll use the suction cup. The idea is to leave a 4mm gap between the floor and drywall, which is enough. So I'm going to take my drywall sheet, which is 47, which goes onto this stud, and this stud continues with another drywall sheet. Here, I have a full sheet, I cut off the tapered edge because I don't want a tapered edge in the corner. It's a pain to fix, so cut your tapered edges when you're in a corner. You put the sheet on and the tapered edge will go onto this stud. Next, we add another drywall sheet. Okay, so here I had a leftover piece of drywall that was a little over 52. I cut it down to 47 and now it's perfect. And there you go. Now I can let it go. It holds. I can put everything back. And then we keep screwing. The other side is done, screwed in and flush. Now, before making this side flush, I need to install the insulation. In the previous video, I made a partition wall with the same insulation, but it was 180 mm thick. The idea is to leave it there for now. I put it there so it would be beside me for you to see. We're simply going to slide it into the uprights like this, and once we've done one side, we position it in the other upright. Once Thermosoft Natura is installed, we can hang the drywall. And of course, I'm going to position my conduits, make the holes with the hole saw in the drywall to bring out the conduits. We're going to be able to create the one that goes in this direction. So track on the floor, track on the ceiling. We install the studs, and the one that's going to be attached to this drywall will be fixed into the stud that's right there. We install the structure, insulation, and drywall. I'll explain. The door opening will be about 75 to 80, and I'll make the studs myself. Because the door had hidden hinges, I'll show them to you soon. To check if a door is properly installed, open it. It should stay in place and not move, close, or open on its own. When installing, check the plumb, level, and lighting, then test by opening it fully. If it closes, there's an issue. And on the other hand, you close it, then it should slam shut by itself. If you close it gently and it opens a certain way, there's a problem. Here, it's perfect. It stays in position, so we're good. All right, let's go. This partition is done, nothing complicated. Track on the ceiling, track on the floor, studs, insulation, plasterboards, and you get a partition wall. This partition defines the room for the thermodynamic water heater. Next, I'll install a custom-made door. Same for the bathroom door and the closet doors, which are in line with the bathroom. I installed the bathroom door, then removed it. Because ultimately, I want identical doors that blend in so the decor hides them. You won't see anything. It starts at the closet and moves in front of the bathroom door. This partition, the return, the water heater door, and the counter partition from the previous video, that's where the staircase will go. And I'm going to use this type of hinge. These are invisible hinges. From one side or the other of the room, you can't see anything at all. Use high quality hinges for invisible hinge installations. I've checked into it. There are good brands like Atomica, and there are other well-known brands too. If you use low-quality hinges and the door sags, you'll have to redo everything. So I'm going to make the uprights myself out of plywood of several thicknesses, since you have to route the plywood, the door frame, to insert them. And I'm going to insert them into the floor. Make plywood angles so that it's more rigid at the partition, the door, and the uprights. So we'll talk about it again, you'll see, but in my mind, everything is clear. I know how I'm going to do all of this. Next, I tackled this partition, so it's just a temporary partition. It's a construction door to separate the finished part of the house from this area where there will be a lot of work. So dust, noise, cold, and the thermostat just like this partition. And I added extruded polystyrene panels on top because I didn't want to bother putting laminate like I did on the door. It's clean, smooth, perfect, and insulates against noise and cold. These may not be the right washers, but I can't find them in the mess. There are washers specifically for extruded polystyrene panels. I used regular washers here. It works fine. What about the screws? And for the door, I insulated it and didn't make things complicated for myself. I could have built a wooden frame and painted it with plywood, but since I had rails, I used those instead. The thermostat opens perfectly, is light, laminated, white, clean, and I can attach my handle. And for those who are wondering, well, the square I used is 7 mm. And at the hardware store, you can find that in lengths of 1 meter or 2 meters. It's really handy, and you should always keep some nearby, especially if you enjoy making your own doors. And depending on the thickness, you'll be glad to have your square tube that you can cut to whatever length you want. It's not that expensive. And for the door, I added, well, it's optional. You might think I'm crazy, but a little brush with small bristles, the aluminum rail, and that, yeah, it costs a fortune. But honestly, if it can cut down on the dust a bit to keep it from going under the door, and the cold, it's not bad either. Otherwise, the little draft stopper you slide in works very well. And I found the blade I was looking for everywhere, so I wasn't necessarily going to use it. Because here, I didn't put down much insulation, but for the state, I'm going to put down a lot, and I'll be glad to have this blade to cut it. Just the insulation with the reciprocating saw or jigsaw. I made a video where I cut a blade from an insulation knife and adapted it to my jigsaw. They do exist for jigsaws or reciprocating saws. You'll find the links in the description, so we've covered everything. The temporary partition, construction site door, and partition separating the room from the thermodynamic water heater. Then we'll be able to do the plastering and install the staircase. I plaster and paint first since it's easier to do before than after. Why make my life harder by trying to get my hand between a staircase, a wall, and a partition to plaster and paint? Okay, so we'll meet again very soon for the next part of the work.